When I hear about the death of a YouTuber, it usually hits harder than that of a mainstream celebrity, not least because of the paradoxical parasocial relationship that we have with them. We can see right into their bedroom, we know things about their personal lives, we can definitely cast aspersions leading up to the death of that individual. The death of young Harley Dilly still definitely resonates among this community, and if you don't know who he is, well, I'm going to tell you all about him today and the strange events leading up to his death. So, here we go. Today we will be looking at the devastating timeline of events involving a young YouTuber named Harley Dilly, a 14-year-old boy from Ohio. In a horrible turn of events, this young boy would go missing, leading to a series of events that make for tough viewing, so I'll try and make things as comfortable as I can as we go through the Harley Dilly disappearance. Harley had a couple of YouTube channels, which he began in 2015 when he was just 10 years old. It's hard to say exactly how many subscribers he had before the incident we're about to discuss. Obviously, after the fact, the channel garnered more interest. But I did read that he did some live streams, and the policy on YouTube in the last couple of years says you need a minimum of 1,000 subscribers as well as some significant watch time to qualify for that. So I'm going to say that while he wasn't a huge YouTuber, he had a cool little following going for himself. The content was pretty regular for a kid of his age. The videos weren't super structured or scheduled. They featured gaming, clips of his dog, as well as some diary-style pieces to camera videos, vlog style. As time went on, Harley began to grow more comfortable on camera and found in his audience a type of confidant. Harley had been diagnosed with ADHD as well as high-functioning autism, which made home life difficult at times, as he had what were noted on his medical and police records, I'll get to that in a minute, non-violent outbursts. It's perhaps worth noting his teachers never reported any major issues. These outbursts always occurred in the home. He began frequently discussing his worries and stressors, using YouTube as an outlet. His home life was often discussed. He was fighting with his mother a lot. His father had told colleagues his relationship with Harley was strained and rocky. These difficulties are not very unusual for a young teen, but retrospectively one's perspective is certainly speculative. On the 19th of December 2019, Harley had been sent to school as normal. Well, not quite normal. See, Harley had told his mom he felt ill that morning and needed to stay home. But she, quote, told him to get his ass to school, unquote. Christmas was right around the corner, and naturally everyone was excitedly anticipating and preparing for the holidays. Maybe she had stuff to do. Later that day, the school contacted Harley's parents to report him absent. But Mom and Dad figured everything was probably hunky-dory and continued to do so after he didn't come home that evening and took themselves up into their cosy beds to go to sleep. Sure, he was probably out in the freezing cold somewhere, that little scamp. He'd be home soon. But the next morning, still no sign of Harley, so they went about their days and at 11:50 p.m. that night contacted the police to report him missing. Searches began by the local community and police and fire departments, which initially reported not returning any signs of foul play. 3 days would go by since Harley's initial disappearance. In most cases such as this, 48 hours is the golden time to find a missing person. Once these hours elapse, it becomes increasingly more unlikely that the missing person will be found alive. They'd lost almost that much time before it had even been reported. With no new leads, no clues, or important information regarding Harley's whereabouts, the family would be without their son over the Christmas period. Rewards for information were put forward by child welfare groups, but to no avail. On the 29th of December, Harley's mother broke her silence, posting on Facebook and addressing the issue for the first time publicly. This post has since been removed, but in the post, Heather urged Harley to return and also launched a written attack at those within the media and local community who were criticising the mother for not being front and centre and engaging with the media. His father had taken out a life insurance policy on the boy shortly after his disappearance too, which struck the community as pretty cold. He had also been reported to have been speaking braggishly about how much coverage the story was getting, and it was getting a good deal. The news stations had quickly come running to this story. Local YouTuber goes missing. It was a great headline, and they had all this footage of the actual boy himself speaking directly to the camera. And one video stood out from the pack. In October 2018, a year before his disappearance, Harley had released a video called "I'm Scared," in which he reports he had a fight with his mom, who had locked him out of the house in the cold, and he hasn't had anything to eat or drink since returning home from school. Now, as a kid who had a flair for the dramatic myself, I totally get how it's possible, giving his mom the benefit of the doubt here, that Harley could be exaggerating the incident. However, he says his mom has told him the police are on their way. It turns out she had called them 5 separate times on him between when he was 10 and 14 years of age, which is not something I would view as typical, especially when we know his outbursts were never violent. But more than that, it's what he says in closing that sends a chill up your spine. Harley states,
"This is a very serious moment. I'm not even going to ask for likes and subscribes. I just want you guys to wish me good luck, because the future could hold bad things for me. I don't want to find out what that could mean.
The future could hold bad things for me, and I don't want to find out what that could mean." Speculation was rife, with scrutiny falling directly on the family. Heather Dilly decided to put her best foot forward and joined the search party for the first time since Harley's disappearance in the new year. The searches continued heavily, as well as donations of financial support, until the 13th of January, when the search finally had a breakthrough. The main point of interest was a vacant home just across the street from the Dilly residence. The police could be seen entering and leaving the building throughout the 13th of January, taking pictures, sampling evidence, and conducting themselves as if they had found a crime scene. But this building had been investigated previously. It had been checked several times during multiple searches of the local area. However, it had never turned up any results externally, and police had never thought there was any reason to go inside the property. There was no signs of forced entry, no signs of human presence on the property, and therefore the search parties marked the area off. So, all that being said, where was Harley? Well, it was reported the following day that police had looked inside and found Harley's clothes lying on the floor, and upon closer investigation, his remains had been found decomposing in the chimney of the house. Initial reports suggested it had been a tragic accident where Dilly's curiosity would prove fatal. He had apparently tried to enter the home by scaling the property to the roof, accessing it via a telephone pole with ladder-like steps, and then attempted to descend down the chimney to get inside. Like a lot of people, he didn't realise chimneys don't always go straight down or remain at the same width throughout. He had apparently gotten some ways down, but eventually became lodged in the chimney and had died of asphyxiation. The chimney was also closed off between the first and second floor, meaning that even if Harley could have forced his way down, his path would have been blocked, leaving him with no means of escape. The police chief, Robert Hickman, made a statement to the press as he attempted to hold back tears, stating that it was not the outcome that we wanted, but the family now have closure. I'm left with so many questions surrounding this case. Why did Harley want to enter the abandoned home so badly? Was it simply childish curiosity? Was he running away to scare his mom? How had his clothes made his way so far into the house? Was there a genuine reason that he needed so badly to be in this particular building, or were there other forces at play here that have yet to be identified? I genuinely hope that it was simply a tragic accident. There's no evidence to say otherwise, but not reporting your child missing for nearly 2 days? That's negligence if nothing else, and that alone leads me to question what Harley was going through psychologically at a minimum. At the same time, a family lost their child, and I hope that all innocent souls find their peace. Until we speak again, sending you good vibes. Stay safe out there.